Welcome. I'm Nora Shabazi, the founder of EBLI, Evidence-Based Literacy Instruction, a system of effective, efficient, research-based strategies and activities to teach anyone to read, write, and spell to their highest potential. And today I'm going to talk about our blog, Avoid Island Teaching, Integrating Literacy Instruction. Now, if you're like me, you really like islands. Most of the islands that I've been to are warm and tropical, and I really appreciate that because I like warm and tropical. So I've visited many, I've lived on a couple, love islands as far as visiting, but island instruction as far as literacy is really not too effective or efficient. So we want to avoid that as much as possible and integrate as much as possible. And I want to share an example from my own life back when, before I even got on this path of teaching literacy, when my middle daughter, Colleen, who was my struggling reader, was in second grade. And I used to volunteer in her classroom once a week, and I'd take my youngest one, she was 4, Kelly was, and we would go into the classroom for a couple hours and volunteer. So one day we were in the back at the little kidney table doing some, I don't know, crafty thing. We're putting some stuff together for the teacher. And she was teaching the whole class. And she said to them, we are going to today I've got dream back there, dream on my mind. We are going to read the story from our book called The Dream Team. And so I want to show you, and she wrote EA on the board, and she said, so I want to show you this. When you see two vowels together, two vowels go walking, and the first one does the talking. So you look at the first of the two vowels, and this one is E, and that's what you say is the name of that letter. So when you see two vowels to get together, you say the letter name of the first one. And so Colleen, who was a very strong, good learner and had a tremendous memory, she's like, cool, I got it. However, there's a lot about that information. It's not really a rule because it only works about half the time. So she would see the word great and she'd say greet, or the word head and she'd say heed. And she didn't understand, like, wait a minute, two vowels go walk and the first one is a talking. Why don't I say that? So the instruction was only just that little bit, a few minutes, but she really, really over applied it. And she also started using it in her spelling. It's so important to understand the connection between reading and spelling. Spelling is another one that ends up on an island of its own a lot of times, unfortunately. And I'm going to do a whole different blog and webinar on that in the future. But in her spelling. So I have this piece, it's actually from 1997, and this is Colleen, my daughter. And to show you for only, there's how she spelled only. EA, two vowels go walk, and we do E, she wrote it there. The word we, she did it there. All throughout her writing in second grade, she has EA. Whenever she's hearing the sound E, that EA is there, she's got it, she's doing it. So we want to be mindful of that, of when we do just a little blurb of kind of, isolated instruction that's kind of incidental, to think about what is that giving our students and how are they actually going to apply it when we don't really move it into everything that we do as far as with reading, writing, and spelling. So that is one of the things. There's a whole lot more that are written in the blog that I touched on the essential components of reading and some of those in there and how we teach them on islands and why we really need to teach those together. So being mindful about that is very, very helpful to really help accelerate instruction and make it more effective and efficient as far as literacy goes. So thank you so much for joining and reading and watching on this blog. I appreciate it very much. I'd also appreciate it if you would share the blog, comment below, help us spread the word, and I thank you very much for being here.